Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 3.
Go ahead.
They have my wife standing on the side of the street.
It's going to be on Porosity, Robert Ocean Sampson, Idaho, with a ID version number of 5467. Okay, your transmission was extremely broken.
Tell them you want to go back
the
home.
only serial number is 5467.
Tell them you want to go home.
Affirmative, that's all I can find right now. Copy at 1747.
Why not? What charge? They're not letting my family go home. They're evidently going to call the CSD. This is the final straw. That's it. That's it. Don't worry. Much. This is too much. We're gone. For what?
8124, I'll be 10812.
For what? They're not.
8102 will be 108W8. 48.
No, they won't. No, they won't. Just wait. Just be patient. She's lying. She's lying. You people are in trouble, man. That's it. You are in trouble. You hurt my babies and
4040, 1035 for a possible hit.
don't you worry.
No, but go ahead anyway.
Help.
Okay, I'm showing one possible hit out of PDC.
God help, Father.
All it says for the type is a PR. A PR. It does not indicate anything other than that. I have a 22 caliber gun, valued at $200. Serial number of 005467. The make is a MAU. It doesn't elaborate anymore on our hit. No, it's going to be at least a 38 357 caliber. And for then it is clear. There were several NC high C hits also, but they're all clear.
This is the Mac of the industry. Tell this slut she owes us a lot of money.
Oh, yeah? Okay, right now, I want to do a disclaimer. This is going to be an R-rated movie, okay? No more screwing around with you guys. I've been a nice guy about this. And my little daughter, Kathleen, can say, Christopher for kidnapping me, I'm going to make a movie and I'm going to do a little cussing myself about the situation, okay? So, plug your ears if you don't want to hear the truth. What's ready to happen here is the whole truth. Okay, you hear that? This is an R-rated movie. I'm sick and tired of this crap. I've been a nice guy. It's been over 7 weeks since I seen my children. I've talked to them a little bit twice in 7 weeks. Now I'm going to tell you what's been going on here, okay? It's kind of hard for me not to look at the screen because I got the screen turned around where I can see that I'm positioned in the film, in the camera. So I'll try to focus on you guys, okay, not on me, okay? Because this movie is not about me. This movie is about us as a people and how that we don't have any freedom, and we want to talk about how we don't have no freedom, okay?
So you're gonna read me my rights, smack my hands and tell me no, a scapegoat in a one-sided fight, but everyone must reap what they sow. Somebody take your conscience away, justified just because you pray. Somebody.
Where are you headed? Sure, hop in. And after about a year and a half, the individuals that had tried to do us harm in Oregon had found out where we were, and they got in contact with some of the local. So anyhow, I ended up complaining to everybody at the U.S. Civil Rights Office. They said they didn't investigate discrimination on the basis of religion. Is the reason was my contention, is that it was based on my religious beliefs. Because I just started reading the Bible when I was 17, and I decided I don't believe in any of the religions. I just believe in what the Bible says, historical things that you can prove. So anyhow, the real reason why that I feel I get so much harassment is because when I read the Bible when I was 17 years old, and I studied the different religions, I found out that most of the celebrations...
There's a lot of realms of one's life in which one aspires to be free, you know. You need certain things taken care of so that you can kind of move on to the next level. So you need your survival taken care of. You need food and shelter and water to be free from hunger.
In Christianity is based on paganism. And so I stopped doing any of the holidays when I was 17 years old, and I just tried to go by the Bible as best I can. And I'll tell you, man, I got so much flack for not doing the holidays and just wanting to not go to church and read the Bible. And I couldn't believe it. I lost my job, lost my wife, lost my 2 sons when I was 19 years old. A wedge was put between us, and it was based on the holidays because I didn't want my children celebrating them. And I don't believe in none of the religions, you know, not the Jehovah's Witnesses or any of them. Because I think a real religion are the people that try to be kind in their life to others. That's what real religion is. And if you don't know a whole lot of spiritual truth and all that kind of stuff. It really doesn't matter. The only thing that really matters is that you try to sincerely do things that are good.
Freedom can be interpreted to mean a whole lot of things. It could mean at the very basest level, it could mean freedom from slavery. At the higher level, it means freedom to think the way you want.
I filed a $10 million lawsuit on the individuals that had done it. Anyhow, the civil rights officer went to my Congressman Wally Herger.
Arcata has a social contract, the state of California has a social contract, the United States has a social contract. Now, some of it is written down in constitutions or in laws, but again, I want you to stress that a lot of the social contract is a matter of norms and values.
So anyhow, I ended up running for Congress and completing my degree over here at Humboldt State. I went down to Chico for one semester, just actually when 911 happened. I was commuting over the mountain when I heard it on the radio, and I was writing a column for the college Orion paper. Stir up yourselves like a hurricane, never looking back again. Hold hands and make a way. You will find the words to say. Don't you be afraid. Just remember how to pray. Stir up yourselves like a hurricane, never looking back again. Let him who stole steal no more. You can bolt the door, hold the darkness at bay until the break of day. The sun shines on through, you will know just what to do. Stir up yourselves like a hurricane, never looking back again. The people are dying, can't you hear the children crying? Stir up yourselves like a hurricane, never looking back again. Now storm the walls and take the city and set harm the people free. You know how people are, man. They just like don't never learn. like myself, you know, I have a hard time learning too. I repeat my same problems over and over again all the time. But I'm trying to work on my habits, you know. Trying to like have some constructive habits instead of destructive ones. Like going to college. You know, that's a good thing for people to be doing. Education is very important. If you don't have people that are educated, all you have are a bunch of mindless slaves that are vulnerable to whatever kind of predator that's available in the world.
Brian Chandler. I live in Arcata. I've been here 6.5 years. I believe that freedom is something that you have on the inside. It's not something that comes from the outside in. It's something you provide from the outside, from the inside out. If you're truly free, you're free from fear, free from regret, free from condemnation, free from guilt. Believe in Jesus. It's the only thing that saves.
I think that freedom, the first freedom, is the freedom to be able to feed yourself and support your family. And that sort of freedom doesn't exist in most parts of the world. In order for the full conversation of freedom to emerge, we have to eradicate hunger, we have to eradicate poverty, so that all of us can participate in sort of the higher levels of discussion about what freedom entails.
In other words, there is a very basic notion of fairness in the United States, regardless of party affiliation, regardless of ideology.
And running for governor is because I'd run for Congress 3 times. Yeah. Actually, I ran as a write-in in '96 and got just 7 votes. Of course, my wife and I were 2 of those. And in '98, I got on the ballot and got over 10,000 votes. And I tried as much as I could to bring out the fact of the things that took place during 9/11 that were not appropriate in my opinion.
I live a life of relative privilege, you know, we're in North America here. My economic circumstances are such that I can, you know, within my little world, I can move pretty freely and do pretty much as I please.
It's kind of like some bad guys feel like they got the green light, you know, to do all their pin-up frustrations or whatever.
Presidential election in 1936, Franklin D. Roosevelt was running around the country, and somebody said, Mr. President, he was still president then, but he was running for re-election. Mr. President, I want you to do this, 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 and this. And he looked at this lady and he said, Madam, I would like to do that, but you have got to make me.
Now, how willing are we to sacrifice? Since we're well-fed, we have food in our stomachs, we're able to support our families. How willing are we to sacrifice? Well, it takes commitment to talk about freedom, and I don't know, that commitment is hard to come by.
This is my gravity engine, man. I coast down the hills to save gas. I calculated I could coast 22 miles a day in my commute. I got a 70-mile-a-day commute. You know, they should have made hybrid cars a long time ago. To save at least 30% in overall gas consumption. But I guess the oil companies aren't interested in that. They want to make as big a profit as they can.
You would abolish corporate personhood in Arcata. So corporations would not be people, only human beings would be persons. And then corporations would not have the protections of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the 15th Amendment. All of the amendments.
So it's really just about finding your own freedom from within and then being able to share that niceness with one another. And I think that over time enough people feel that niceness.
To the extent that I can, that's what I do with my work, both in manufacturing consent and in the corporation. I try to free people with information.
In the year 1900, There are very, very sharp, strong parallels between what we have now and the year 1900. Those historians among you might want to look at this, or maybe if you were interested, take a look. In the year 1900, William McKinley was president. We had a huge, wide gap between people at the top in terms of income and wealth and everybody else. Our politics were being corrupted by big corporations.
There was, in manufacturing consent, there was a substantial section on a little country called East Timor that had been invaded and taken over by Indonesia. A lot of people killed, and those people wanted their freedom, you know, but they needed the support of people in the West, people like us. But we needed to know about it first, you know.
Our democracy was really almost a sham. We had a lot of very poor people who were sliding off the cliff and becoming even poorer. We had fetid slums, problems of public health and sanitation. The environment was a disaster.
At least having a substantial say in what you do, where you go, what you think.
By reducing laws, down to simple brass tacks, like, yo, they already got the law, habeas corpus is pretty simple, you know, and we can keep it real plain like that, and we can find freedom, and we can build on freedom from there.
I think the most freeing thing that a person can do is to help others to get free, you know, that might need some help.
Freedom to me is being connected with God and God's forgiveness, and in that having freedom to live with peace.
You might want to free your mind from a lot of untruths that might come your way.
I think freedom comes from becoming free inside yourself, and then that spreads.
You've got to be involved, and you've got to be part of a movement to take America back.
That's the essence of freedom, is being able to decide your own fate without others deciding it for you.
You see, what you want to get at, especially with regard to corporate personhood, is you want to get us away from the fiction that a corporation, a big corporation, has the right to free speech, which translated into political terms means we can't regulate big corporations. We can't prevent them from undermining our democracy.
Everywhere you look, there's impediments to freedom.
Okay, well, I'll let you out up here. All right, man. It was nice meeting you. And, here, let me see if I got any money. Well, I suppose I could part with this. All right, man. Take care. Careful.
You have people in key positions that have agendas in the educational institutions, in the judicial branches, you know, all branches of government, and even in the businesses and the churches, and they all have their agendas, and they're like privately on their own promoting what they know that they need to promote in order to obtain their political agenda. And part of that political agenda is de-educating the masses. If you keep the people dumb, you know, excuse me, I don't mean to use that word, but if you keep the people uneducated, then they're much easier to control. So they only allow, though people in key positions try to only allow those individuals that are going to promote their agenda to succeed in education or in law or even in medicine or whatever, you know, the professional realms. Because those people have the control over society. I mean, they make decisions of life and death, freedom and, you know, prison and, you know, education or no education. And so those people have a lot of power, and so they have been pushing this agenda, and I call it an American purge.
But you've got to take, all of you, as you have shown by your interest in civic engagement here in Arcata, you've got to take responsibility. Thank you all.
that some of them are very sincere in what they're saying. It depends upon what they're going to be allowed to do after they're in office. You know, they're junior members.
Driving down the freeway and waiting to move. Do you ever look up in the sky when it's blue? Did you ever wonder, is there anything else in life to do? Can you see too that we are the ones with the power? He gives it to us each day and every hour. All we have to do have you ever heard the eagles cry way up in the blue sky? Did you know that he's singing to you and to me? Hoping we'll remember what it's like to be free. Have you ever listened to the coyotes howl or the screeches of the owls? Have you ever ran through the mountains and drank from the streams? Do you know what it's like to be free? Now all around the world, men and women are oppressing, lying and stealing and killing everything. We are the ones with the power. If it were not for us, it would not be their hour. One more day and they will cease to be.
To suck you dry. I think therefore I'm radical. I resist and refuse mind control. To speak one's mind is a public offense, but stubbornness is a crucial defense. Well, you gave in and let your soul sell. Well, it's us burning in hell. You gave in without our fights, and now it's you telling us alright. Mosquitoes in the ties and suits. Mosquitoes leading rats with the flute. Mosquitoes with the right to abuse. Mosquitoes
planes and tanks will be coming as sure as the rain is gonna fall. The bombs, they will be a killing. If they could, they'd just kill us all. The waves of tears will be crashing soon on our shores. The people will be a begging for war no more. The children are running for cover at nightfall to a place where there's no room for crying, to the mother of all wars. The leaders are planning to steal what's ours. Sons, daughters, and freedom will soon be no more. So you better be a-running for the mountains above the valley floor, 'cause the battle for the streets of Babylon is gonna let the blood flow. And we all should be praying that we can find the door back to our beginnings, when vengeance was no reason for war. The devil is deceiving the world a little more. And if you believe him, yeah, I'll take from you your soul. 'Cause it's truth, not lies, that bring freedom, and what we are fighting for. So don't you believe them. Let's stand and gather the poor.
I want to get something off my shoulders right now about this whole situation. I'm talking to my wife today on the phone. She's telling me, she says, I'm watching you go up and down and stuff with your emotions and everything. That means you're like manic depressive. You know, give me a fucking break. You kidnap my children against their will. You hold them in a secret place and you go, oh, were you emotional about that, Bob? Damn, I think you need to have a psychiatrist. Well, you know what I think you need? I think you need a fucking jail cell, because you're a little criminal. This is where I've been taking my baths, cold baths, for the last 2 months since my children were abducted. And I dug this out on the hill a few years ago. We were going to make ourselves a little campsite in here. Of course, everything got all trashed out over the last couple years because of all the terror that's been going on. And here's my tent that I set up with my computer in it so that I could be a little safer at night. Oh, and I got to show you this thing that Kathleen Abigail Todd made for me. I dug this out a few years ago right here, but Kathleen came up and she set up an exercise center for me. And they had their little exercise mats over there, and she carved these steps in the mountain right here. And we put this little pallet up here to set, and I threw this chair up here, and this is where I've sat almost every night for the last 2 months, writing in my journal, and of course snibbling and crying because I miss my children so bad. And I carved their names in this tree right here. my fine baby, Sarah Todd. Well, I didn't put Todd. I put Kat. I love you. Joshua, Eli, Rebel. And there's our flag, our family coat of arms. I read the Bible when I was 17, and I discovered, guess what? There is a God. And he's got something to say to you all. And you know what it is? You're a bunch of low-life, scumbucket suckers. That's what you are here on planet Earth. Why do you think he destroyed the whole planet once? Except for 8 people. Because you guys were like little angels? Come on, give me a break. Your God is your belly. That's what's the problem here in the world. You guys don't care about nothing but food, sex, vanity, and getting whatever you want and making sure your little creature comforts are taken care of. You don't want to have no suffering at all. And you just like are appalled when you see suffering because you go, oh, they must have done something to deserve that. Well, guess what? All of your greed is what causes the suffering, because there's plenty to go around. If it wasn't for greedy, fat dogs that take more than what they need and make fun and oppress of the people that they're taking it from. Okay? Some of the locals who don't like us giving away clothes, they come by and trash out our free mart. One morning I come down here, you're gonna believe this. This guy, he's walking towards Free Mart with this big rock, like one of these rocks right here. And as he sees me, he turns around and puts it in the back of his truck because he's getting ready to bust open my little donation box right here at Free Mart. And can you believe that? Of course, I'm so slow, I don't realize what he's doing. I walk on down here, and there's this lady in the truck, and well, let me show you the sign here. There's this lady in this truck, and a little girl between the two of them. And the little girl waves at me, and I walk down right in front of their truck and wave at him and walk on, because I didn't really think anything about it. I don't know what he wanted my rock for, but then I figure out he's the guy who's been coming here and trashing the place out and taking money and stuff. I thought it was funny. So you make people homeless and you call them nomadic? You screw with them and steal their children, and you go, oh, what? Are you a little bit emotional about that? I think you need some medication. Right. Yeah, and then you say, I'm dangerous, because you know that you deserve to get your ass beat, if not worse. And you know that if I do anything to you, oh, then you're right, because you said I was dangerous, and if I don't do anything, you get to do what? You get to steal my children, teach them another religion, and teach them to hate their own father.
Real men put women and children above themselves. They're not tyrants. And if there are men that are oppressing, they're supposed to go and kick their ass and take care of it, you know. And the same thing with the women. If the women are doing things that are like disgracing other women, the women should go and take care of that stuff. They shouldn't allow women to abuse children. They shouldn't allow men to abuse children. They shouldn't allow none of that stuff. But see, what's happened is that they put laws in place in order to protect people that are doing those things. I mean, I don't have no rights at all. Not one. My wife told me tonight I should change my religion. They're taking my home. They got my 4 children. They're changing their religion. I lost my job. I had to walk away from it because I was framed in a court where there was the FBI, the judge, the jury, my lawyer, and witnesses all sat there and watched me be framed. So I don't have no rights no more. The only right that I have is between God and I, and my ability to believe that He is going to render justice in the end. And so that's all I can do. I can just ask God to help me and believe, and just believe that He's going to render justice, whether I stand or fall or live or die.
Bob, I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't mean it. I'm just like tired of you pressuring me, okay? I'm sorry that I have the kids. I'm sorry I don't feel comfortable enough to let you know where I'm at. But if you don't have the patience to just wait this through, then I don't know what to tell you, you know. Obviously, we need a divorce. And obviously, you're not there, so I hope you're finding comfort somewhere. But, you know, my comfort is with God, and I feel like this is what God wants. He doesn't want my kids out there because you've made it unsafe by raising red flags everywhere we go and letting everybody know who you are and what you believe. And that's your priority, so go ahead and have that as your priority. And my priority is these children. So hope you're having a good evening and have fun with your new woman.
Okay, say something, Josh. You can talk to Dada. Can you tell Daddy you love him?
Yeah.
You gotta say, I love you, Daddy. You gotta say, I love you, Daddy. Okay, you need to just relax. Now, give me a big smile. Come on. Come on, Manny, you too, please. Give me a big smile. Okay.
Have you ever heard the eagles cry way up in the blue sky? Did you know that he's singing to you and to me? Hoping we'll remember what it's like to be free. Have you ever listened to the coyotes howl or the screeches of the owls? Have you ever ran through the mountains and drank from the streams? Do you know what it's like to be free? Long ago, the people used to sing, gathering together because that they were free. Now around the world, men and women are oppressing, lying and stealing and killing everything. We are the ones with the power. If it were not for us, it would not be their hour.
A local man has announced his plans to run against Congressman Mike Thompson for his seat in the House of Representatives. Earlier today, Bob Todd announced plans to run for a second time. Todd is originally from Oregon, but has lived in Humboldt County for the last 15 years. He says he represents the common man and has a long list of issues he hopes to tackle, including a 10% flat tax, promoting alternative energy, and changes to the prison system.
I think the major problem in our country is we're losing our ethics, that we don't have any morals, and we think the prison system is going to correct people after they're already in a set pattern. And I think we ought to have a restitution system instead of a prison system. And the people that aren't dangerous to society should be paying back what they stole or repaying the losses that they caused, rather than us having to pay for them. I want it to be a real documentary.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just like doing a shot. So I'm showing people, look, you could be a common person, go and do a little publicity stunt, get attention, and have your say-so.
Right, in the news.
You know?
Get
Right.
you, yeah.
Do we have freedom here in America? Right. Sure we do. We believe that. Freedom is not monetary wealth. Freedom is the deeds that we are allowed to do. And we're not allowed to do very much, especially now. With the war on terrorism, how do you have a war on an ism? You have a war on an individual. You have a war on a country. You have a war on a group. You don't have a war on a concept. War is terrorism. Come on. Well, you think those children are being terrorized when you're dropping 500-pound bombs on them? Come on. That's terror. That's slaughtering innocent people, too. That's the biggest crime you can commit. It's a joke. Stand up for freedom, America. Put a stop to this injustice. Stop the wars. Start working together. Build a highway around the world. Whatever you got to do. Get the nations working together. Get everybody to help each other. Keep your sovereignty. Don't allow them to have a government that doesn't allow God-given rights, because that's what they want to do with the United Nations. They want us worshiping anything but God. Believe me. Now the last thing is, how do you secure freedom? How do you do that? How do you keep tyrants from doing what they do? The only thing I can think is morals. Is if you have a people that worship God, stand for righteousness, for truth, for justice, for integrity, for honor, humble, that's what you need. If you have the heart, if you have people that care about others, and you stand for truth, you're going to maintain your freedom. But as soon as you start allowing the corruption, you start letting lies in, they teach your kids Santa Claus and Easter bunnies and all that garbage, and you act like that's freedom of religion, or homosexuality is freedom of religion, or cloning or abortion is freedom. How do you figure that doing evil things and lying to little children equals freedom? That's a lie. That's why you don't have your freedom. It's because you let lies into your nation. You let corruption into your government. Because you let it into your heart. So if you all stand up for truth, no matter what it is, just stick with the truth, whatever it is. Things that are lies, what do you need them for? Label them what they are. Darkness. The truth is the light. And that's what will guide you.
Mosquitoes feeding rats with
What's
the
the deal with
phones.
They come in,
With the right
they want to know what's going on. What's the latest in electronics, man? Lady Row Radio Shack. We don't really have the latest in electronics. If we had the latest in electronics, they'd be too expensive for us to carry. And pretty much you couldn't afford them with your crystal meth intake anyway. You know what I'm saying? I mean, beyond that, really. I mean, hippies, right? They stink, right? I mean, come on. What's the deal with patchouli oil? Does that really cover up the smell? No, it makes you smell weird in a way on top of your body odor. Right, so now patchouli oil makes you stink, and your BO makes you stink at the same time. How about getting a haircut and taking a shower, right? You can still be all for peace and love. You don't have to stink to do it, right? Okay. check the audio on that. Please cut. If you don't cut, I cuss you, man. You know who I am? Cut the fucking tape, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm Tony Montana. You know, it may be raining outside, make it easier for me to wash my blood off my hands from you when I take your trachea out, huh? I talk in the microphone because I'm Tony Montana. Everything I say is like gold. So I'm from Cuba. You know, I'm a Cuban refugee, political, you know? Turn the freaking camera off, bro. Cut your beat, man. Hey, yeah!
There you go.
Judah, yeah. No. Just because you have a different smell than other people, there's no reason not to serve them.
Now all around the world, men and women are oppressing, lying and stealing and killing everything. We are the ones with the power. If it were not for us, it would not be their hour. One more day and they will cease to be. The world will again be free. When you're driving down the freeway and waiting to move, do you ever look up in the sky when it's blue? Did you ever wonder, is there anything else in life to do? Can you see too that we are the ones with the power? He gives it to us each day and every hour. All we have to do is believe. We will again be free. Have you ever heard the eagles cry way up in the blue sky? Did you know that he's singing to you and to me, hoping we'll remember what it's like to be free? Have you ever listened to the coyotes howl or the screeches of the owls? Have you ever ran through the mountains and drank from the streams? Do you know what it's like to be free? Long ago, the people used to sing, gathering together because that they were free. Now all around the world, men and women are oppressing, lying and stealing and killing everything. We are the ones with the power. If it were not for us, it would not be their hour. One more day and they will cease to be. The world will again be free. Have you ever heard the eagle scream? Way up in the sky where he is free, and on his wings we will ride, whether we stand or fall or live or die. Right now is the hour to stand up and take back the power. The kingdom belongs to the children.